Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Good morning, and what a good morning it is, honestly. Everyone's always in a good mood on NFL Sunday mornings. That's dating back to when I was a kid. These mornings were always fun. So excited to watch all the games. So excited to place a lot of wagers. I do have a bunch open. And what makes it even better is I'm coming into this morning with, it's not that my bets did amazing yesterday, but like the glamour bets hit. And what I mean by glamour bets is my top 4 bets went 4-0. I had that big high risk parlay that hit, which is always like, because a lot of people tail those. So even though my bets as a whole were pretty mediocre, I think I finished just in the green, but the glamour bets hit, which is always nice because it means a lot of the people tailing it. So we got Steve coming in now.
Rank the Cougars.
Yeah, shout out Cougar Nation. You can't come into Pullman with weak shit like that. You
Come
coming
on.
to Pullman?
Texas Tech. Oh, football. Okay. Welcome to the Palouse, baby.
Oh, football. Steve, good morning, man. You excited?
Oh, good morning. 8 a.m. comes early for me. I'm ready to go, though. It's football.
It's 8. It's
7
NFL
a.m.
Sunday,
here
man.
in Alaska.
Yeah,
Keep
toast
up.
7 a.m.
Yikes. But it's football. You know, football, golf, 2 things I'll get up for. That's about it.
100%. So we got 13 games to go through, but we got plenty of time, so we don't have to rush or anything. But let's go ahead and get it started. Steelers, Falcons, first game up. Poppy, I have 2 bets in this one. If you want to hook me up with the Steelers plus the points, hook me up with the under in the game. It's now, there's 4s popping up. So this market is against me here. I got the Steelers at plus 3.5. I took the under early on at 42.5. You could still get that. So as far as the market, didn't lose any value on either of these. In fact, the Steelers moved against me a little bit. It's not that I'm saying the Steelers are a better team than the Falcons. I mean, clearly Atlanta has more talent than Pittsburgh, but it's week 1 and everything about that Falcons offense is new. I mean, the most important pieces of it. We're talking a new coaching staff and a new quarterback, and we're laying 3.5, well now 4, to a Steelers team that always seems to cover in these spots. These spots where they're catching 3.5. Mike Tomlin, excellent record against the spread as an underdog. So let's hear what these guys think. You guys already know my thoughts because I uploaded a video. Who would like to go first on this one?
I'll just say I don't have much. I don't have a best bet in this game, but I'm with you. I mean, how can we think Kirk Cousins and this Falcons offense is going to run away from this kind of defense in their first game? I lean Steelers plus 3.5. But again, there's just too many unknowns. Arthur Smith revenge game. You know, he's probably going to use a lot of backup running backs and tight ends like he did in Atlanta. But seriously, though, I just think it's too many. I hate Russell Wilson as a Seattle Seahawks fan, and I think he's washed up. And until I see something, which it's been how many years now until we've seen the old Russell Wilson, you know. But again, he's on a team now where he's going to rely on defense. Anytime TJ Watt is in the lineup, the Steelers' defense and pass rush is pretty lethal. So I think the Steelers probably win outright. But just a lean for the plus 3.5.
Yeah, and it's something else to consider. Look, it's Arthur Smith, brand new offense. I mean, are we going to see the Steelers come out and run the ball? Are we going to see a huge transformation on that side? But also, Falcons, as I mentioned, is a new coaching staff. We talked about the offense, but defense, they lost Nielsen. So there's some new pieces on the Falcons defense as well. Will they be a top 3 or 4 run defense again? I think we all agree that Pittsburgh with Arthur Smith is going to look to run the football this year. Now, if we go by last year's numbers, that's a tough matchup because the Falcons were great against the run. The way to beat this Falcons defense last year was to throw it because they couldn't pressure the quarterback. But are the Steelers even equipped to exploit that type of weakness? Beaver, what do you think about the Arthur Smith revenge game?
I think this game's a pile of shit. I don't think I'm betting it. I think the lean here is the under. most people are saying that in this game. Both teams' bread and butter is running the ball, and the Falcons' main defensive strength is shutting down the run. The issue is, I don't know if that holds with Nielsen no longer the defensive coordinator. We only really saw that Falcons' run defense potent last season. That wasn't really the case years before, and Nielsen was only the defensive coordinator last year. So obviously don't know if that's going to carry over. And if you shut down the run, you don't respect the play action, and if you don't respect the play action, you render Arthur Smith's offense useless. Now, the wrench in the operation here for me is the fact that Justin Fields it may start or is starting, because I actually feel he fits Smith's offense a bit better than Russ and is also more prone to turnovers and sacks than Russ. That could lead to quicker points for opponents. I really don't love this game. If a gun is to my head, shoot me.
Damn, Beaver.
Toast?
Okay. Well, I don't really have anything on the side, but I will say that I will make a point that I found researching this game, that the Steelers, even after Ben Roethlisberger left in 2021, they're the fourth best team in the NFL, not Major League Baseball. Sorry, fourth best team in the NFL since Ben Roethlisberger retired against the spread. They're 14-1 ATS. And they were really good in one-score games. So I think this, with everybody liking the under and stuff, I would lean with the Steelers with the points. But the one play I did make in this game, which is funny that it happens to be the first game, the GOAT, Younghoe Koo, over 1.5 total field goals today, especially at home. This was like a smash spot for him last year. Yo, don't start with Younghoe Koo and my kickers, okay? This was a smash spot for Mr. Koo. So over 1.5 field goals at -130. It's juiced up for a reason, boys.
I have never heard anyone refer to a field goal prop as a smash spot ever. We might as well just loaded the MLB pick graphics up. Like Toast and the Steelers, Falcons game, he likes the Blue Jays first 5, minus the half run. So
is that your whale play of the day, Toast? Is that like a 5-unit?
Oh, he loves kicker props. That's not, he wasn't trying to be funny. He will be betting these. And I talk a lot of shit to him. He was hitting them last year, which was infuriating because I wanted to talk shit to him, but he kept winning, so I ended up looking like a moron.
Once trends start developing, I'll be on the kicker props too, dude. They're dope.
They're actually some good value with this, but I got some good value with a lot of PATs made props last year too.
Yeah. What are we doing, guys?
I'm just saying.
Don't worry, I got one more. I got one more for week 1 later on in the day.
All right, let's move on to the next game.
Oh my God.
God, that felt good.
Younghoe Koo. This is a smash spot. Jags Dolphins, and I believe Tyreek Hill has been released from custody. No, it's not a joke. I think he's been released from custody. We're good to go.
Wait, what did I miss?
Tyreek Hill got arrested on his way to the stadium about an hour ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yes.
and he was on the ground, like pinned on the ground, like. But I think he's been. I mean.
They said it's a driving violation. His agent, or Rosenhaus, came out and said that he was being detained. That's all, and he will play today. That's all we know. So
Classic football stuff, you know.
this is just awesome.
Just love of the game. Adversity.
Yeah.
What happened? How did Scotty Scheffler perform in that golf tournament where he end up playing well?
I think the first day he was great. The second day he
fell
sucked.
apart. Yeah,
So
he fell apart.
Tyreek Hill to score in the first quarter? No, I'm on the Dolphins in this one.
Okay.
And I honestly am. So there's a lot of people taking the Jags, a lot of professional bettors taking the Jags here. And to be honest, I don't care. I don't know how many times we have to see the Dolphins boat race somebody in the stadium before we finally realize, like, hey, I don't care. It doesn't matter what the public side is. Dolphins are going to put up 50 points. I mean, it seems like every game in this stadium, the Dolphins are not stopped once. And I mean, this is a Jags defense that I expect to be improved, but it's week 1. They bring in a new defensive coordinator. They actually coincidentally brought in Nielsen from the Falcons, the team we were just talking about. And I don't understand how. Okay, what's the best way to describe what I'm trying to say? All right, so last year, the Jags defense, they were great against the run, struggled mightily against the pass, struggled to pressure the quarterback. Who does that sound strikingly similar to? The Falcons. Now, obviously, defenses are more complex than just pressure rate, run defense, pass defense. Obviously, there's layers to it, and maybe Nielsen's a great hire. It's just funny on paper how the Jags were great against the run, struggled against the pass, struggled to pressure the passer. Then they bring in Nielsen, who was with the Falcons, who were great against the run, struggled against the pass, and struggled to pressure the passer. So on paper, the metrics between these two defenses were similar. But even so, it's week 1, new defensive coordinator on the road in Miami against an offense where, I mean, if the weather conditions are fine, which they're supposed to be, I know there was talk that there might be rain in this game earlier in the week. It looks good. If the weather conditions are fine, I mean, I got Dolphins at -3. It's at 3.5 now. I'd still go Dolphins. If the weather conditions are fine and they're in Miami, I would lay 3 with the Dolphins against. I'd lay 3 with the Dolphins against the Chiefs. If the weather's fine, regular season in Miami, I would. So yeah, I'm on the Dolphins.
Weather is looking fine, Kyle.
Yeah, I checked it out earlier.
Yeah, I've been peeping that pretty much all day too. And from what I'm seeing, precipitation was looking a bit ramped up earlier this morning, but seems to be decreasing by the minute. So should be good.
Toast. Oh, usually Toast goes last, actually. Prop Beaver, what do you think?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite plays of the day. I'm going with Devon Achane over 20.5 receiving yards. I know a couple books bumped it up to 22.5, maybe the 23.5 range. Still more than fine with it there, especially if somehow Tyreek Hill does miss this game, or if he's, I don't know, maybe suspended for a quarter. Maybe McDaniels gives him a little smack on the ass, says, no, bad boy. I don't know. When you have a weapon like A-Chain, you go into an offseason trying to figure out how to get him the ball more. And one of the main things that McDaniels was vocal about over the summer was getting A-Chain the ball in the receiving game. While we have an extremely small sample size and rarely one I take too seriously, I'm talking about his lone preseason game, the usage that this man got as a receiver in that game was eye-opening. He was only in for 13 snaps total, but on those 13 snaps, he ran 11 routes, and he was targeted 3 times, lining up in the slot twice and out wide twice. He produced 34 yards on 2 receptions because, of course, he did. I mean, he's lethal. And that's interesting, not only because outside Hill and Waddle, there's really nobody out there on the field. I mean, we've got Braxton Berrios, Grant DuBose, Robbie Chosen, but because the Jaguars have struggled mightily to defend running backs out of the backfield in the past. I mean, 2023, they allowed the 3rd most yards per game, most pass attempts per game, 31st in DVOA. And then in 2022, they allowed the most yards per game, most pass attempts per game, 25th in DVOA. So this is something they've struggled against in the past. Now, I know Ryan Nielsen is now the DC, no longer Campbell, and he may change the Jags defense from one that was zone heavy to one that is man heavy like his in Atlanta. Usually not something that's good for running back receiving overs, but the Falcons defense last year was one that was 31st in DVOA against running backs through the air, and they allowed the 6th most yards per reception to the position. I think this number could be at 27.5 later in the season, and that Nielsen would be a bit nuts to go a completely man-heavy strategy here against Miami in his first game, especially with a new team. His personnel last year, the Jaguars, they were horrible when they were in man coverage last year. I just think that there's a ton of value with a guy who grabbed 21 receiving yards and a catch like it's nothing. If you look at Achane's receptions lines at 2.5, juiced as high as -180 for the over. With 3+ receptions last year, including their playoff matchup, he was 6-1 to the over, averaging 27 yards per game. So I feel like the books are giving a bit of a tell there with that receptions line. Love this over today. Probably one of my favorites on the board. Achane
over 20.5 receiving yards. And by the way, I forgot to tell you, on Friday night in the Packers-Eagles game, Modai sent me a DM talking shit about Josh Jacobs in the 3rd quarter. And then right after he sent it, he broke that big run and got your over. So next time you see Modai, make sure you say that to him.
I mean, yeah, the kid just doesn't know ball, doesn't know running backs. I mean, God forbid, 26 he thinks is the age cliff. Sad.
All right. Steve, are you one of the sharps on Jacksonville?
I couldn't get there, but I have a best bet that I absolutely love. By the way, I love that Achane bet.
Thank you.
That's one catch. That's possibly one catch for him.
Thank you.
You know, Jaguars, Dolphins, both to score 20 or more points. -115 I got it for, and it just seems like a steal. FanDuel has his team total set at 23.5 for Jags. So obviously we're taking it all the way down to 20. Key number here. You know, when they're healthy and playing well, they were 8-3 to start the year. They had some big offensive games last year, the Jaguars did. But the big reason is I don't think the Dolphins have many playmakers on defense. I really don't. And I haven't seen yet if Jalen Ramsey's playing today. Do you guys know if he is?
So what's happening is he's limited. But my problem with that is he's limited with a hamstring issue. A hamstring could go at any time. So if anything, that's great for your bet.
Yeah, I agree. And so I just think, and I don't know, I know some of you guys are high on the Dolphins, but there's just not a lot of playmakers. Obviously, no Christian Wilkins anymore, and Jalen Ramsey's out. Bradley Chubb is out. and especially if the Dolphins go nuts and they score 30, 40 points, the Jags are just going to be throwing to keep it up. I mean, even if they struggle all game and they have 14 in the fourth quarter, they're down 31-14 or something, you can get this 20 points with the fourth quarter garbage touchdown with the Dolphins playing prevent defense, whatever it is. Jags scored 20 or more points in 12 of 17 games last year. I think they can get to 20 easily. Obviously, that's the harder leg. I don't need to explain the Dolphins 20 plus points too much, but explosive players all over the field. If the Dolphins don't score 20 points here today at home against the Jags, I think they're going to have an issue this season because they should easily go over this. I mean, their team total is 26.5. So I think getting both to score 20 plus points in what could be a shootout is just an absolute steal. It could be an early cash too. So I like this one.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with that at all. And honestly, there's some emotion and maybe a little bit of bias that went into my bet here. I've gotten cooked on two different occasions trying to go sharp and fade the Dolphins in Miami. And I remember vividly, like you remember how you feel in a moment. I remember vividly sitting with my friends and watching Tyreek Hill score his second touchdown already, and it's the first quarter's not even over, and I'm like, I'm not doing this again. And then I took the Dolphins as a home favorite as a best bet a few weeks later, and it cashed for me. So the Dolphins as a home favorite. I just have it engraved in my brain as that's a reliable thing to do. So hopefully that pays off. Toast, are you with me?
No. Jags plus 3.5 here. A couple reasons why. First of all, Dolphins, one of the more public plays on the board. The line still went from 3.5 to 3 at most spots. Also, a lot is me and made about the Dolphins at home and how good they are, especially like weeks 1 through 4. But look at the teams that they're playing. I mean, going back, Denver, the Giants, Carolina, New England. I mean, that's a who's who of teams if you're the Dolphins to start. So not to mention the fact I like what Jaguars did getting Eric Armstead on that defensive line. And then just a little bit of trend to go with it, but not to mention I'm just fading the world, but a little trend. Teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that go on the road and they're underdogs 50, 30, and 20 since 2012. I'm just not there. This is more of me just fading the world, but I'll take my Jags plus 3.5 and see what happens.
Fading the world. Gab says it best in the comments. You don't fade the fish in the fishbowl. Love it, Gab. Did you patent that? Because I'm going to start using it. Let's go to the next game. By the way, our poll is Toast is right. Everyone's betting the Dolphins. 66%, 20% Miami. So as far as the viewers go, they're on the Dolphins. Who won that first poll? Was it did the Falcons? I think the Falcons. So the Falcons and Dolphins. So far, the viewers have like both favorites in the first two games. Vikings, Giants, G-Men in New York. Steve, do you want to start us off on this one? I have a bet in this one. I'm kind of curious to see where you're at.
I almost threw up when you said the Vikings at the G-Men. I have a lean. I don't have a best bet. Under 41.5 points. I will give you a quick trend because I love trends and we give them out on the channel a lot. But Giants have gone under in 14 of the last 20 games.
Damn.
Obviously a defensive team. I think the Giants can get to the backfield. I think their pass rush, they got obviously some elite players on that defensive line. But, it's Sam Darnold. What are we going to get from him? I feel like there's some people that say this is Sam Darnold's breakout year. He's going to be a stud. And there's some people that are just like, this guy's horrendous. This guy has no chance. And then Danny Dimes. I don't know how he got Danny Dimes' nickname exactly, but how can you suck so bad and get such a cool nickname? I don't really understand that. But Malik Neighbors is a stud. I just don't see much offense in this game. I think both quarterbacks are going to struggle. Jones coming off that injury, obviously. So, the only way I think this doesn't go under is maybe there's a lot of interceptions that set up easy points, pick sixes, things like that. But I don't trust the O-lines. I don't trust the quarterbacks. I lean under, but not a best bet for me.
I can't say I could argue with the under, but I'm on a side. Prop Beaver?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm also on the same side as you, so I guess I'll just post it for both of us. Yeah, Vikings up. It's pretty much basically the mindset that I feel like this Vikings offense. Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm on the money line, so give me the money line.
Yep. We don't know what's gonna happen. It's Sam Darnold. We know Sam Darnold isn't great. I believe his ranks amongst quarterbacks with 1,500 pass attempts since like 2000. They're all really, really quite pitiful. It's not great stuff here, folks. But to be fair to Sam Darnold, his situations, they've also been really, really quite pitiful. And I think that he's in his best situation to date. I think he's facing a Giants defense that, yes, has a really cool pass rush, but behind it, really doesn't have much else. I mean, the secondary doesn't scare me, and he has fantastic weapons to work with. I think he has really two really solid tackles on the outside to combat the good edge rushers that the Giants have. I'm just really scared about Sexy Dexy causing a stir up the middle. But besides that, I think that Sam Darnold's in a spot to succeed here. So if Sam Darnold is just decent, then I think we're in a really good spot here because I respect the Vikings defense. I like the Vikings defense a lot, actually, because the Vikings defense put in the work last season. They made a major turnaround going from arguably one of the most disgusting, disgraceful defenses I've ever seen to a defense that blitzed a hell of a lot, but made the most out of those blitzes. And now they added in Stephon Gilmore, who obviously is a bit older, but is still quite good. Shaq Griffin, who, but gets to move Byron Murphy back to his natural position. And I saw a super boost that does make me happy. I saw the super boost, Malik Neighbors, 5+ receptions, going from minus 170 to plus 100. If you know me, I hate boosts. The books ain't giving out those boosts for no reason. And
Hates
if Malik
boosts.
Neighbors somehow doesn't get the 5+ receptions, I have no clue how this Giants offense is functioning today. Already mentioned on the live how Daniel Jones against the blitz is horrendous. And now against the blitz with coming off that ACL injury, I just really don't love it. I do like that the Giants finally gave this kid an offensive line to work with after 6 years with the organization. Very good of them. But it's the first game with a heavy blitz rate. I just don't think it comes together in game one. So I think the Vikings have a very brutal schedule this year. I think this is one of the winnable games. I think they have the revenge factor after the Giants came into their home in that 2022 wildcard game and embarrassed them. I think this is where they get their revenge. So Vikings up.
Yeah, I agree. And look, there's no question that the Giants are the sharp play here. And if we're just if we're betting simply by, hey, which lines are off, yeah, I mean, I get it. Minnesota not really projected to be a great team this year. Laying points on the road, do we really think they're that much better than the Giants? I could see that. But as far as on a football standpoint between these two teams, if you want to say Daniel Jones is better than Sam Darnold, okay, I'll concede that, even though Daniel Jones statistically was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL last year before he got injured. But if you want to say Daniel Jones is better than Sam Darnold based on what we saw in 2022, okay, maybe I'll concede that. Sure, you can have it. But after that, where is one aspect of this football game where the Giants are better than the Vikings? The Vikings, outside of Sam Darnold, is just putting a blanket over what this Vikings team is. This is a pretty good football team. I mean, they have a good offensive line with two really good offensive tackles. So one of the strengths of the Giants is when that defensive line gets hot, they can disrupt, cause some problems, even though it was few and far between. The Vikings have two very good offensive tackles. They should be able to keep Sam Darnold clean in this one. And if Sam Darnold has time, I don't care that his name is Sam Darnold, because who in the Giants secondary is covering those two receivers? Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. The Giants secondary is, to put it delicately, not the best unit in the league.
The things I saw Garrett Wilson doing to Deonte Banks in the joint practices should not be released on film.
Yo, for real. So that Giants secondary is really, really shaky, and the Vikings have, I mean, maybe the best 1-2 wide receiver punch, a top 5 1-2 wide receiver punch in the NFL. So the only way, Sam Darnold's not good, but I mean, he's going to have time with two elite receivers against a bad secondary. There's a lot of quarterbacks that could excel in a situation like that. And then on the other side, look, I don't know where everyone gets off crowning Malik Neighbors as a superstar that can't be reckoned with in week 1 of his first NFL game. I don't know where that came from. Malik Neighbors is cool, and he's probably going to be a star. I think it's a good pick for the Giants, but the idea that Malik Neighbors takes the field and is an immediate game-changing impact to the point where it shifts the line a couple points is crazy to me. So, look, Malik Neighbors is cool. I think that's a great pick, but it doesn't move the needle for me in week 1. Who's running the ball? Singletary? Come on now. Vikes up.
I'm on the under myself as well. This is just me. More, you can call it a systems play, but Giants home games go to the under 24-8-1 since 2020. It's just continued to do that. And if I had to pick a side, I'd lean on the Giants as well because Dayball 22, 13, and 1 ATS. That's one of the best winning percentages ATS wise since he started with the Giants. So he has been getting the job done. But Giant home games just means under.
This game is ugly. This game is absolutely ugly. But yeah, you guys kind of talked me into the Vikes side a little bit.
Let's do it.
Just keep on your under, bro. That's
Yeah,
Giant home
No,
game
don't
under.
listen to him. Fikes
Free
up,
money.
Steve.
Free money.
Do I look like the type of guy that would steer you wrong, Steve?
No, never. You never have steered anyone wrong ever.
Ever.
Never.
No, ever.
He has 100% ROI.
100%.
Yeah,
It's
you should
insane.
subscribe
Yeah.
to the channel.
Someone said in the comments, thankfully somebody rolled a 7 to get Toast out of the Jumanji jungle for NFL Sunday. All right, next game. I just picture Robin Williams with that. That's a classic.
I was like, I love that movie.
Titans, Bears, and I'll go first on this one because I want to say here, look, the Titans have become a pretty public dog. I don't really care. I'm on Tennessee. I also don't really care that I got the worst. Well, actually, I do care that I got the worst of the number. I don't know why I said that. I wish I had a +4. I have a
What is it
+3.5.
now?
So it's at +4 now.
Oh,
But I played it wrong because you could have gotten a 4.5. I didn't. Then it dropped to 3.5, and then I grabbed it thinking like, oh, I don't want it to go to 3, and then it went back up to 4. So like I played it completely wrong in every sense of the word here. But I just want to say that I am not on the Titans based on the stat that's been repeated ad nauseum here. Caleb Williams, first overall pick, first round quarterback, making his first start. Auto fade. We know the record. We know the trend. That's not why I'm betting the Titans here. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams makes some plays, truly. I'm betting the Titans because I like the matchup for the Titans offense, truly. I think Will Levis could have a really good game here. And I think that's the angle that maybe getting slept on a little bit. We don't really know what we're going to see from this Bears defense. They did bring in a new defense coordinator, but what we're reading is Eberflus is still calling the defensive plays, at least to start the season, which means we might see a little bit of what we saw last year. Zone coverage, no pass rush. If you look at Will Levis's splits, dude, he's terrible when you put pressure on him. He's terrible against man coverage. But Will Levis with a clean pocket against zone coverage is like top 5 in the NFL last year. If you give Will Levis time against zone coverage, he carves you up. Now, look, I'm sure Eberflus, we're not the only ones that can see these splits. You know who else probably looks at them? Eberflus. So I'm sure he knows and is going to come out with some kind of game plan to prevent that. But still, I like the way this Titans offense is put together. No one's talking about the Titans offense. I like it. First of all, they upgraded their offensive line in a major way. They drafted a left tackle early in the NFL draft. They also bring in Cushenberry to play center. Their center from last year was the guy who led the NFL in sacks allowed from the center position. So they huge upgrade at center. If I would think an early pick in the NFL draft should be an upgrade at left tackle. I'm not going to pretend to know that, but it should be. So the offensive line upgraded in a big way, and I like the running back room here. I mean, Tony Pollard and Spears, two guys that I think are elite split back guys, elite guys at splitting carries. And I think, especially because Tony Pollard, there was an issue with him in Dallas having the stamina to be RB1. It's perfect. Him and Spears, change of pace every couple plays. It's perfect. And also, they added Calvin Ridley. So throw another weapon in there. Tyler Boyd. And Hopkins is probably going to play in this game.
Treylon Burks is the wide receiver 4 now.
Yeah, Treylon Burks is healthy, and he's wide receiver 4. He was wide receiver 1, looking like. So, yeah.
Not to mention Cushenberry on the line, who was a top 10 center last year.
Yeah, and their center from Aaron Brewer from last year was one of the worst centers in football in terms of pass protection. Huge upgrade there. So, this is a bet on the Titans. I'm not fading Caleb Williams. I'm betting on the Titans offense.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. So I gave out 2 bets in this game on my channel, and the first one was Titans plus 3.5. I guess I played it wrong with you. I didn't think it was going to be going to +4. But you know what? I think the Titans win this game. I'm going to be honest with you. And you did say the merger. Since the merger, quarterbacks pick number 1. I know you didn't love that, but my God, they've won 4 of the last 27 games. It's pretty intense. But besides the trends, the Bears' offensive strength is their wide receiver core. That's not a good matchup. And for those of you that don't follow the Titans and just think they're rebuilding, they have 2 great corners. L'Jarius Sneed may be the best corner in all of football. And then Chidobe Awuzie, I mean, they have guys who can slow down DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, those guys. The Titans defense got Ernest Jones. They got safety Quandre Diggs, ex-Seahawk. Jeffrey Simmons still in the middle. I mean, I think the more I looked into the Titans, I was thinking, my goodness, this is actually a legitimate defense. It could be.
Quandre Diggs.
And then you talked about the offense, the clean pocket and all that. Well, here's the difference in this game for me, other than just Caleb Williams needing his growing or time to grow and all that. But the Bears did one thing in the offseason. They didn't do anything to their O-line and D-line. The Titans did actually improve their O-line and D-line. You're going to see it in this game. The Bears O-line, bottom 10 run and pass block last year, and they did nothing. They just sat there with all their money and didn't improve. They were a bottom 5 team at pressuring the quarterback. And like you said, Levis is probably going to have a clean pocket. I remember tailing some Titans last year, and I would see Levis literally snap the ball, and there was 2 guys in the backfield. Like every single play, it seemed like. And I don't think it's going to be like that this year. I think the Titans are the better team in week 1 right now. I think people are getting caught up with, look at all these toys that Caleb Williams has, all this stuff. Caleb Williams, I didn't watch all of them. He's still a guy who lost 5 games in college. He's not the next coming of Jesus or anything like that, at least not right now. And so I think this Titans defense matches up well with them. So I love the Titans plus 3.5 in this one. And again, I think they can win this game outright. And then my second bet, player prop, Tony Pollard over 10.5 receiving yards. This number is ridiculously low. He went over this in 12 of 18 games last year with Dallas. I know he's going to be splitting with Tajay Spears, but the Bears last season, how about dead last in allowing receiving yards to running backs? Just absolutely dead last. And it wasn't even close. The second place was like 45 yards a game. They allowed about 60 receiving yards per game to running backs. Even Derrick Henry had 10 games of 10 or more receiving yards. Tony Pollard is a much better pass catcher and using the pass game more. This could be one screenplay and it's a cash. So I like Pollard over 10.5, and I think Titans plus 3.5, but I think they win this game. So
you're on to Titans too. It looks like the mouse.
My cursor isn't showing up. That's what I was trying to get your picks up.
Yeah,
Steve.
so he's on Titans too, even though the graphics not coming up.
Freaking annoying.
Yeah.
It pops back up any second. I can see it on your screen, which is crazy.
So annoying.
All right, let's go to the next game. Are you able to get it to the bottom left?
No, I mean, I moved it on to the next game. I just can't get the graphics off the screen, which is
Panthers
annoying.
Saints. All right. So this is another one where it's looking like a really public dog is shaping up here.
Really?
What's up?
No. Oh, they're a public dog. Carolina is.
It's looking like it. I'm on the Panthers, but let's probably get the poll up first. So my main reason for betting the Panthers is I think they're going to be able to run the football here. The Saints' run defense may be dead, and I think that's something a fact we need to embrace here. This run defense, we kind of took it for granted under Dennis Allen for years, right? They had an elite run defense for years. Every single year, you could just pencil the Saints in for an elite run defense. Well, last year, we saw a drop out of the top half in the NFL. They were back at 21st, 22nd in terms of defending the run, and they really didn't do anything to address it. I mean, they brought in Willie Gay, right, from the Chiefs. Chase Young, what does he really do for the run game? I mean, those pieces that made the Saints an elite run defense, they're aging. Demario Davis is 35 years old now. Cam Jordan, 35 years old now. And, like, those guys are the man. I'm not saying I don't like them or anything, but let's be real. These guys are aging, and I think the Saints are going to have a bad run. I think it might be really bad. And it's kind of crazy because we just have it in our heads that these Saints teams have great run defense, the Dennis Allen defense, right? But I think the Saints' run defense has a chance to be bottom 5 or 6 in the NFL this year. And the Panthers made major upgrades on the offensive line. I mean, I think the Panthers might have the highest paid offensive line in the sport right now. They had their 2 tackles in center from last year. The weakness of this Panthers offensive line last year were the 2 guards. They had not only injuries, but they have inconsistent play, guys bouncing in and out. I think they had like 6 or 7 different guards that started a game last year. Well, they went out and bought 2 guards. They got Robert Hunt and
Damian Lewis.
Yeah, and Lewis. Yep. So they went out and got 2 guards, which was the 2 weaknesses of their line. I think Carolina's offensive line might be pretty good. So I like the Panthers to run the ball on the Saints here. Now, as far as the Panthers defense, is Derek Carr going to be able to make some plays on them? Probably. But also we can count on Derek Carr to make a mistake or two. I got this at 4. Basically, my logic is I don't want to be laying more than a field goal with a team that's going to get run on. So I think the Panthers are going to be able to run the football. We got a new play caller there. Canales, right? Or no, Canales isn't calling the plays, you said?
Canales is calling the plays.
Oh, Canales is calling the plays, right.
Caller.
So
Yes.
got Canales there. They call him the quarterback whisperer. I don't know if I buy into that gimmick. But I like the Panthers to run the ball, and this should be a field goal game. So I got Carolina +4.
Oh, so you have a best bet in the Panthers, Saints, and the Vikings Giants games?
No, this isn't one of my top 3 bets.
Not your bet. Okay, got it.
I did bet it, but it's not.
You were asking if he likes misery, basically?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. I won't have this game on if I don't have to. Leaning this game for me is under 41.5. So here's the crazy trends. These two teams, last 7 times they face each other, they've gone under, and they've averaged only 32.1 points per game in those. Divisional underdogs, obviously, if you do like the Panthers, 36-15-1 against the spread since 2014. Absolutely insane. But Saints also gone under in 7 straight home games. Panthers ended last year going under in 9 of their last 11. I mean, everything about this points to the under, an ugly game. What wasn't talked about is I love the addition of Deontay Johnson, though. I think he's just one of those guys that Bryce Young badly needs.
Agree.
He can create separation, and he didn't have a lot of that last year. And I think he's going to be, he's going to have a good season and he's going to help. But this game just screams under. It's going to be low scoring. I think the Saints are absolute hot garbage. I mean, I just think they are a bad football team. I think their O-line might be the bottom 3 in the NFL. Derek Carr is Derek Carr. We know him. I just think they're pretty bad. So I would lean Panthers, but if I had to make a play on this game, it would definitely be the under 41.5. So
I actually was kind of liking the over, to be honest, but I think Prop Beaver does like the over.
Yes.
We got
I will get into it. Now listen, Steve. Actually, I want to go into my Hubbard play and then I'll get into the over. But yeah, so the Hubbard play, let's get into that first. I
just want to be clear. It is a lean, so
yeah, I know.
There's no lean.
We ain't going to war.
I'm telling you, he might have argued with you before, but then you gave Deontay Johnson some praises, which is his guy. So he definitely was
Deontay Johnson is my guy.
I'm taking a deep breath. Yeah. We'll get at it at the Colts game. Don't worry.
No, we're actually not going to go at it there, and we'll get to that later. But Deontay Johnson is my guy. Kyle just has no respect. He thinks that my glazing of Deontay Johnson's unwarranted. He's a pig. He has no understanding of what a true route runner is in the NFL.
Deontay Johnson, top 5 receiver. You're right. Go on.
Okay. So basically, Chuba Hubbard, I like his over at 54.5 rushing yards here today. Well, it's actually up to 56.5 now. The books are adjusting. I feel like Chuba is one of the more criminally disrespected backs in the NFL, and I myself have done some of the sneering and gesturing after his disgusting rookie season, so I myself am no saint. But 2022, this guy was top 10 in efficiency grade, time of line behind the scrimmage, and yards per carry. He's a very north and south runner. And last year, he became a full-blown workhorse down the stretch last year. He went over the mark his last 4 of 6 games, averaging 74.8 yards per game on an ungodly 20 attempts per game. And the insane part is the Panthers were 1-5 during that span, losing by an average of 13 points per game. Against none other than these New Orleans Saints at New Orleans, the Panthers got their asses kicked 28-6. Bryce Young was disgraceful, completing 33% of his passes. Miles Sanders managed 10 carries himself, and Hubbard only managed 3.8 yards per carry. He still had 87 yards in that game because he had 23 carries despite losing by 22. He had everything working against him in that game, and I think he's in a much better spot this time because now he has an offensive line that the Panthers invested heavily into with Hunt and Lewis. On top of that, he's going to have Austin Corbett back and healthy at the center position. Also, Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette should finally add some breathing room to this offense and get some lighter boxes for Hubbard to run through. Canales has been vocal all offseason about being stubborn with the run, and while I wasn't very enthralled with that in Tampa because he had one of the worst interior run blocking units, and Rachaad White, who I think is awful, I actually think that could work here in Carolina. And in this matchup against a Saints defensive line, who I think is bottom 3 in the NFL, I think it could work very well here. The Saints' rush defense was 25th in DVOA, 19th in adjusted line yards, 22nd in yards per carry last year. And if everything went wrong and Chuba could cash this number last year against the Saints, I think he could do it again here in what I think could be a much more advantageous matchup and a closer matchup. And then the other bet I had here was the over. I think we're getting much more creative play calling this time around on both sides of the ball, not only with Canales, but with Clint Kubiak. The reason I feel like we're getting so many unders in New Orleans is because Carmichael, that dude doesn't know how to call an offense for shit. I mean, you have so many early first down runs where it was amongst the bottom 5 in play action, amongst the bottom 5 in motion. Finally, we're going to get a real play caller in this bitch for the Saints, and I think that Shaheed could have a great game today. Olave could have a great game today. Hey, maybe A.T. Perry even gets involved. The point is, I think we're actually going to see points here after 8 straight unders. All great things must come to an end. So I like the over here. It's one of my smaller bets of the day. Steve said it's a lean. I only have this as a half unit play, so it's not like I'm actually knocking down the door here and begging you to take it, but it is one of my plays today.
The over at 41.5. Toast?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on Carolina. I bet it at 4 a while ago. This is just two things that I love to do. Fade Dennis Allen team. Since 2020 or since 2002, there's only Pat Shurmur, Hugh Jackson, and Gus Bradley. I think are the only worst straight up and ATS coaches in the National Football League. And then on the second part of that is Derek Carr as a favorite, who's the only person that's worse in his career since 2014 is Matt Ryan against the spread. The Panthers are absolutely terrible. I will give you guys that. But to give me 4 against a team like the Saints, who I think are absolutely terrible and continue to get worse, I'll take my chances.
Let's do it. Next game.
Can the Saints beat anybody by 4 then? I mean, if it's not the Panthers, we don't think they should be favored ever, right?
Maybe a team that has a lackluster run. I'd take them against the Bucs.
Yeah.
A team that's forced to throw the ball against the Saints secondary.
For me, the fact that this number was 4 and 3.5, and considering the fact that the Panthers did not snap the ball last year while leading in the fourth quarter, gives me a lot of hope that this game is probably going to be close.
All right, I like it. Arizona Buffalo. I don't have a bet in this game yet, but I'm circling 2. I'm going to pass the mic over to Steve and Prop Beaver in a second. This is what I'm thinking. So I feel like everyone likes the over in this game, and I'm on the other side. I think this is a low-scoring game. I'm a Bills seller this year. I don't think the Bills are a very great. I mean, I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think the Bills should be mentioned amongst the teams up top the AFC this year. But it's not their defense. I think their defense are going to be fine. Their defense was fine last year without Milano. I know that the secondary got gutted, but I love the Bills' defensive line. I think they have the best defensive line in the NFL, and that hides, as we saw last year when the Bills got ripped apart with injuries, and still in the second half of the year, we're a top 2 or 3 defense in the league. That defensive line can put Band-Aids on a lot of shit on that defense. So I think the Bills' defense, even with those losses, are going to be fine. But I'm not sold on the Bills' offense. I don't really know what we like about it. I mean, look, they switched OCs, right? Started running the ball. James Cook, people are big on. If you actually look at the numbers, after they switched OCs in that second half of the year, James Cook, the Bills average as a team like 4.1 yards per carry. It wasn't even good. What happened was James Cook went absolutely ballistic in the Cowboys game, which was game of the week that everybody watched. Everybody in the world watched that game and saw James Cook go off. So the consensus became, oh, the Bills can run the football. James Cook is awesome. And that's what everyone started thinking, when that really wasn't reality. They were running the football more, and his stats were going up because he was seeing more volume. But as far as the efficiency goes, they weren't very efficient doing that. So now you enter this year with no Gabe Davis, no Steph Diggs. If you're an NFL defense, aren't you coming in like, oh, listen, they're just going to try to run the ball, load the box, make Josh Allen force throws down the field, he'll turn it over. I mean, I feel like the defensive game plan for this Bills offense isn't even that much of a challenge. Josh Allen is definitely talented as hell, but I don't really like the Bills offense this year. And then on the other side, I already talked about the Bills defense. Cardinals definitely were a very good running team last year, and they looked better with Kyler Murray on the field. and I'm sure they will be improved. But like I said, Bills defensive line on the road to Buffalo, this is tough. So I think it stays under. The total got bet down from 47.5 to 46.5. So it looks like the got bought down a little bit. I think the under is the move here. Maybe a Bills team total under, maybe a Cardinals plus the points. If I can get an Arizona plus 7, I'll buy in. That's how I'm thinking. Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
You got some good points. I don't know if it's necessarily against you, but my best bet in this game, I got 2 of them. First one, Cardinals team total over 19.5. It's
Toast
20.
likes it. He's like,
it's
Okay.
just 20. First of all, without Milano, like you said, it is a big deal. In my opinion, I think not having him, the heart and soul of this defense, I think they can score some points. So last four of the last 5 games for the Cardinals last year scored 20 or more. Obviously, we know all about Kyler Murray. I'm not a huge Kyler Murray fan. This is not me saying Kyler Murray's the greatest or anything. Marvin Harrison's going to be a huge lift. He's a rookie receiver. I know that. He's not going to be the end all be all. I like James Conner. He's really played well, and I wasn't a big James Conner fan, but he has played well. But like you mentioned, how can this team not score 20? I mean, when you have a secondary that we have no idea. Like you mentioned, they were completely gutted. We're talking new safeties. It could get ugly over there. I know they have a good defensive line, but I think with a mobile quarterback and this Cardinals offense and the good run game, the Cardinals just need 20 again. And maybe the Bills, I couldn't get on this Cardinals side because I absolutely hate this Cardinals defense. It is a college defense. So
Thank you.
I don't quite get there, but 20 points, even if the Bills score, again, this is one of those things where what if the Bills score 31 and we're sitting 31-14 or something in the fourth quarter? There's a garbage touchdown. You can cash this in the fourth quarter. So I think there's ways around it. I'd be surprised if the Cards can't just get to 20. I think, obviously, if you don't know football, 20 is a key number, So I do like the over 19.5. My second one, it's just an anytime touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, my boy. I got him in every fantasy league. I think he's an absolute stud. Bills lost 15 touchdowns last year with Diggs and Gabe Davis. And Kincaid is practically a wide receiver. He's going to be a main target. Facing a Cardinals defense that struggled mightily against the tight end and every single position on the field. Arizona gave up the second most touchdowns to tight ends last season. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get a good plus money there. So, those are my 2 best bets in this game. I do like what you're saying, though. Maybe I'm not as high on the Bills' defensive line as I should be. But, when they don't get pressure, I think it could be ugly in that secondary. And having a mobile quarterback obviously helps with that pass rush a little bit. But anyways, those are my 2.
all right, I like that Kincaid. I think that's a solid look as far as the touchdown score goes. Now, Prop Beaver was very vocally anti Arizona Cardinals in the offseason. There's a lot of people, and I'm not going to talk about randoms on the internet. There's a lot of respected NFL minds that are big on this Cardinals team this year. I said respected, Toast.
I know. Yeah, come on.
And Prop Beaver disagrees. He's not big on this Cardinals team. So did that result in you? I didn't even look at your bets this morning, Prop Beaver. Did you actually take the Bills minus the points here?
No, I think that's I think that's a bit much. But at the same time, are people like smoking crack, like running to the window, like, oh, the Cardinals are here, the Cardinals are here, the Cardinals are gonna make the playoffs,
Yes.
Cardinals team total over, Cardinals this, Cardinals that. Kyler Murray hasn't been good since 2021. It's been 3 years.
What?
It's been 3 years. Toast.
Look at the second half of last year and tell me Kyler Murray didn't play good football. Are you kidding me?
Toast, shush your mouth. Up until he faced the Eagles, who were 32nd in EPA per play from weeks 10 to 18, and the Seattle Seahawks, who were 31st in EPA per play defensively from weeks 10 to 18, the dude had a negative 14% passing DVOA. He was absolute fucking dog shit last year. He has been dog shit the previous 3 years. He has been awful since week 8 of 2021. He hasn't been a good quarterback for 3 years now. I don't think that drafting Marvin Harrison is going to make him a good quarterback all of a sudden. In fact, statistically, it makes you a worse quarterback the first year and then a better quarterback the second year. That's how it works statistically. In fact, the Cardinals, 6 of the 50 biggest drop-offs after drafting a first-round target have come to the Arizona Cardinals. They know it better than anybody. So I think that Kyler Murray is going to have quite the poor season. And everybody buying and drinking the juice, thinking that, oh, the Arizona Cardinals are going to be the team out of the NFC to fucking burst through this year, are suckers, because it's the Seattle Seahawks. Y'all are morons. Mike McDonald's a man. God damn it. God damn it, man.
You really ended it with the Seattle Seahawks of all
Yes,
teams?
because y'all are tripping, man. Y'all are so tripping. It's
First of
so
all-
clearly the Seahawks. It blows my mind.
Go
First of
Hawks.
all, I don't have I didn't pick the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl or anything like that. I just like them this week. I just want to make that very clear. So don't get me too bad, Beaver. But Josh Allen as a favorite of 4 more. I mean, really, really bad. 8 and 16 and 1 in those games. Of 42 quarterbacks over that span. Allen is the worst at that spot. Oh, and how does Kyler Murray do traveling to the East Coast? 11 and 3 ATS, 16 and 6 in that time zone for his career. I played the Cardinals plus 6.5. I played the Cardinals on the money line today. I truly believe in this Cardinals team, and I think that the Bills are really, really overrated. So I do have a Cardinals plus 6.5 ticket. I also have a Cardinals money line ticket, and I kind of like it a lot.
Kind of likes it a lot.
I got a just quick question for each of you. Toast, first of all, Cards defense. You trust this Cards defense, especially on the road?
I think that the Bills are one of the most overrated teams in football right now, and
But
this
the fate
line
of the Bills.
tells
Okay.
me everything I want.
Gotcha. And Beaver, what do you think of this Cardinals team total then after you just bashed them? Do you think they can get to 20, or do you just think they're going to score 0? I mean, I'm just curious what you think of this.
The one thing that I was trying to tell Sauce before here when he was saying, oh, I like the under. Matt Milano is the heart and soul of this Bills rush defense. Without him on the field last year, this Bills rush defense was absolutely awful. I mean, in fact, they were awful the entire season. I don't know if I trust them to stop the Cardinals' run game. I mean, and Kyler Murray, although I do not really trust him, the dude can run. So, and the Cardinals' rush attack was absolutely potent as all hell last year. So I don't know. That's the one thing where I don't know if I hate your bet. The Cardinals' defense, though, that shit's JV as all hell. I mean, my lord. So.
Milano's the middle linebacker, right?
Yes. Let me just real quick talk about Sweet Baby Ray, because this is one of my favorite plays on the board.
Oh, that's right. That's this game.
Yeah, and should I play the
I
song?
actually like this bet. I do.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to play the song. What a question.
No. We're playing the song because me and Steve have the same touchdown score later.
Oh, okay, cool.
We'll play the
Okay.
touchdown score song.
Yeah, so let me just talk real quick. Bills drafted this 5'8", 220-pound bowling ball ahead of respected RB prospects Aldrich Estime and Braylon Allen out of Kentucky for no reason. They had a vision, and the vision was touchdowns, touchdowns, touchdowns. Not Josh Allen looking like Jeff Hardy diving into the end zone, swanton bombing, okay? To say that James Cook is not a trusted goal line back, that is an understatement. He has just 4 rushing touchdowns despite 326 carries throughout his career. And the only other back on the roster is Ty Johnson, who's an RC Cola version of Ray Davis. Books have Josh Allen listed at -167 to score a touchdown. James Cook near +100. So they're heavily suggesting the Bills score a rushing touchdown here. Why not follow the money and invest in the guy they invested in this offseason at a significantly better price? The guy who just broke Kentucky's single season touchdown record at 21. I mean, the Cardinals allowed the 3rd most rush TDs and most TDs overall to running backs last season. Their front 7 still remains the steamiest pile of dog shit being rolled out in the NFL. So at this beauty of a price, give me Sweet Baby Ray to start his NFL career off with a bang. The man was born on
Dude, did Jeff
11/11.
Hardy-
My wish is for Buddy to give us the touchdown.
Next game, yo.
That Jeff Hardy line was just perfect because I can see Josh Allen diving like that. That was a
He
good
does.
one.
I don't know why.
That
Swanton
was a
bombing,
good one.
I believe was what
That
he
was
said.
the good one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's move on to the next game. We did that one for a little too long.
Patriots, Bengals, and I'm assuming this is going to be a shorter one.
Whew.
Look, I want to preface what I'm about to say with I did not bet this, but I don't know how you lay more than a touchdown with Cincinnati here. Look, everyone wants to talk about how bad the Patriots offense is or how bad it was last year, how bad it's supposed to be this year. I get it. I'll join in with you. We can hold hands and rip it. I'm with it. Are we going to mention how the Bengals defense might have been even worse than the Patriots offense? It might even be worse than as bad as the Patriots offense was and is projected to be this year, and it's bad. The Bengals defense might be worse. Now, Lou Anarumo is the man. They have a cool defensive coordinator there who's shown us he can make do with not a lot to work with. But Ramondre Stevenson coming off his worst year in the NFL. The Bengals with a terrible run defense. They lost DJ Reader, who was probably their best run stopper. Who's to say the Patriots don't come out here and just feed it to Ramondre Stevenson for 4.5 yards per carry this whole game? I think there's a path. And look, Brissett, he's a veteran. They're not going to ask him to do much. Hand the ball off, protect the football, punt and hand it off. And I think that covers a touchdown here in week 1. I do. Not to mention there's no T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. I mean, who knows if he's 100% as far as missing a lot of camp and all that. Who knows about this Bengals rushing attack? There's a lot of question marks here, and I'm not comfortable laying more than a touchdown. The only way I would go here is New England. Now, again, I didn't bet it. Go ahead, guys.
I'll go really quickly because this is actually one of my favorite bets of the week. New England first half plus 5.5. For me, I think there's too many questions around this Bengals team. We know they're a slow starting team. Now we have drama with Chase. And again, even if he plays, that's fine. I agree with Kyle. I think that the Patriots play through their defense and slow this game down with the running game. Not to mention Jacoby Brissett, 31-17-1 in his first half in his career, over 257 quarterbacks. He's the third most profitable quarterback in the first half, only behind Flacco and Jackson. You're getting 5.5 points in the first half that you might see less than 20 points. I'll take my chances. Like I said, this is one of my favorite bets on the board.
Honestly, if the Patriots get it in the end zone once, you cover. Like, I like that. That's a good bet.
I do like that. I've noticed that. I feel like the Bengals offense tends to start slow in the beginning of the year. Like usually they'll cap out at around 20 points. So I don't necessarily hate that. I saw a Bengals team total thing here. Jabba, was that yours?
That's me. Yeah. So I think we're kind of on the same page. First of all, I just realized that Toast's favorite play is a first half play and a smash play is a kicker play. But
welcome to the show.
It's a lean, and this is probably one bet that I was so close to giving out as like an official bet. I like the Bengals team total under 24.5. I think we're all kind of on the same page. If there's one thing, the Patriots defense should be good. Obviously, Belichick, I think the one thing he is a defensive mastermind. So we'll see what happens without him. But what we don't realize is Christian Gonzalez is back. And what we saw from him, he was a stud last year in the secondary for them. And I just Googled it, and I saw Jamar Chase anticipates to play. But I've heard Jamar Chase say it's up to him if he plays. If he does, he's going to limit himself. So he's not going to be out there every single snap or anything like that. No T. Higgins. Like you guys said, slow starting team. 24 is a key number in football. I mean, they got to get pretty much to 27 to not cash this bet. That seems like a lot, unless Jacoby Brissett is throwing, pick sixes all over the field or anything like that. But I like the Bengals team total under 24.5. And yeah, you can't lay this many points at the Bengals. Right now.
And the Patriots running the ball, in addition to moving the chains, it also eats the clock and it keeps the Bengals offense on the sideline, limits possession. So yeah, I'm with that too. I didn't bet it though, so I don't want to spend too much time. Prop Beaver?
Same exact idea as you, Kyle. I think this is one of the few matchups this year that really works for the Patriots, actually. Just due to the weakness of the Bengals on the defensive front. This is a Bengals defense that was so bad already last year at defending the run. I believe if you look at their rush metrics, they were bottom 5 in terms of rush DVOA.
Bottom 5 against the pass as well. They were so bad last year.
They were just pissed. Yeah, I mean, you could ease it up like that, Kyle. Thank you. They were just pissed defensively last year. 28th in rush defense DVOA, 25th in EPA, 28th in yards per carry. And while I think that they have to improve from a pass defense DVOA perspective, they were obviously adjusting to losing Von Bell and Jesse Bates. I think the rush defense is going to continue to struggle. I mean, now they lose DJ Reader. That guy's been one of the best run-stuffing defensive tackles in football in his 10 years of Cincinnati Bengals. Not last year, but more so the year before when he had suffered an injury. Me and Kyle, when we were making the videos, there were some dramatic splits in terms of when this guy was on and off the field. And now when he's going to be off the field and the defense was that bad already, defending the run last year, this is exactly what the Patriots want. Just give it to Ramondre Stevenson, hope for 4 yards per carry, and just move the chains and waste some clock. Because that's all the Patriots want to do. I mean, that's all they want. They're not trying to win games 30 to 28. They want to win games 17 to 14. They want to bore you to death. That's Patriots football, baby.
They want to lose 17 consecutive 17 to 14 games to draft Shador Sanders.
That's Gerard Mayo football. So, yeah.
Next up. Now, after last night, Shador Sanders might
Kayla
not be.
Coleman is saying, seems like y'all just like the dogs. Week 1, I believe it's dogs of 5 points or less are hitting at a 64% rate. That is mostly
my
why.
bets are split. We're about to get to a couple. I mean, the Vikings, the Dolphins are both favorites that I like. Also, there's a couple favorites coming up.
And that was
Be
since
patience,
2018.
patience, Kayla Coleman.
I spend a lot of time on the
Patience.
trends because I know my role on the show, and there is trends among trend on with underdogs. It's hard to find a good one for a favorite in week
I
one.
agree. I love trends, by the way. I give them out on my channel every week, and they went 115 and 81 last year. I think trends in football compared to any other sport are pretty key.
I like the trends in basketball season the most. But anyway, let's go Houston, Indianapolis.
Game of the week.
And Steve, Prop Beaver's not going to fight you that hard on this one. He's come to he's seen the light.
No, listen, don't say I've seen the light.
Well, let's let Steve
don't
go
say
first
shit like
because
that,
Steve
okay?
likes this play, and you can put it up for me too. I'm with Steve. I'm on the same bet as Steve here.
Oh, I don't need to get the boxing gloves on and anything?
No,
Okay.
he still is sticking by the Colts are terrible and could be 0-8. But as far as the bet in this game, he's not going to fight you on.
Okay. The 0-8 thing, just a lot of PTSD going on. So here's the deal. I got two best bets. Obviously, Colts +3 is the first best bet. If we just do the trends real quick, every trend I saw is literally all for the Colts. Divisional underdogs, 36-15-1 ATS, 71%. This is all week 1. Divisional home dogs, 14-4 against the spread. Divisional home dogs of 1.5 or more, 16-3 against the spread. Texans, by the way, 5-21 all time in Indianapolis. I know Prop Beaver does not like this team. I'm not sure why he doesn't like this team. This is a top 5 offensive line. There was not many games last year where we had Jonathan Taylor and a fully healthy offensive line. There just wasn't. And now we got Michael Pittman, the addition of Adonai Mitchell. We got Alec Pierce. I know Downs is not going to be playing this game. Two matchups last year. Colts won 31-20. Colts lost 23-19 the next game. I mean, they outscored them 50-43. I'm not saying that means they're a better team or anything like that, but they were a 4th down drop pass away from winning the AFC South. And now they're healthier with a great team in the trenches. We're talking O-line and D-line. They have a great pass rush. They added probably the best pass rusher in the draft when they were already loaded. Top 5 sack team, top 5 pressure team. I mean, in the 2 games last year, you want to say Texans, well, they do well stopping the run. Zach Moss, 88 yards rushing. Jonathan Taylor, 30 carries for 188 yards against the Texans last year. Again, this is one of those things kind of like the Bears where listen, the Texans are better than the Bears, and this is not me saying the Texans are a bad team, but week 1 in the divisional game, first of all, divisional matchups, if you don't know, they know each other well. That's why these games stay close. That's why these games stay under. The defenses know how to play them. I think for the Texans to run away when they're trying to get Diggs the ball, I mean, give it 2 drives. Diggs doesn't get 1 catch and he starts yelling at people on the sideline. But I just don't love Joe Mixon at all. And I think the Colts right here at home, I don't see how they're getting +3, which is a key number, obviously. I think the Colts win this game outright. I mean, again, like I said, it wasn't for someone to hate on the Colts when they were literally a drop pass away from winning the division last year, and now they're healthier. They returned the most starters in the NFL. I don't understand it. The starting 0-8 thing. I think I woke up one night at like 2 a.m. with that voice in my head of Colts might start 0-8. It just I don't understand it at all. It makes 0 sense to me. The Colts will win this game. Bet number 2, real quick. Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown +105. You got to be kidding me. He ran for almost 200 yards on this team last year. He scored 20 touchdowns a few seasons ago. Just if people forget about that. 7 touchdowns in 9 games last 9 games. And Texans, I mean, average 12th most touchdowns to running back. So I like Taylor anytime touchdown, but Colts, and more Colts.
Yeah, I won't talk for very long because he nailed it. But what the one that you said right towards the end there, that's exactly how I feel as well. The Texans are the better team this year, and they loaded up the roster. Texans are going to be a problem. But let's not forget the Colts outplayed this team twice last year. They outplayed this team twice, and this line is just off. Laying 3 on the road in Indianapolis against a team that outplayed you twice. I mean, that means on a neutral field, we're looking at 5.5, 6. In Houston, this is 8.5. Are you crazy? What is it? That's crazy. The Colts were 1 drop pass away from winning the division. They outplayed them twice. Again, I'm saying the Texans are the better team here and will be the better team probably this year. But laying 3 on the road, a full field goal on the road, no way. Not and that home division dog trend, I'm with it. Colts plus 3.
yeah. Well, not to
Real
mention the Texans are the most public play on the board, so that's
Yes.
always a help.
Good point. That's what I was going to say. They are a huge public. I was just going to say one thing. Everything I just said goes out the window if Anthony Richardson throws like 3 picks. But I like everything else.
And judging by his days as a Florida Gator, it could be in the deck.
Yeah, and I think I just read he's played, 17 games since high school?
Yeah.
That doesn't make me feel good, but...
Rob Beaver?
Surely nothing could go wrong with that. Surely nothing. Well, I mean, I guess I'm somewhat putting my faith in Anthony Richardson too with my bet. So here goes nothing. Yeah, I like the over in this game, 48.5. Now for my Colts bettors, because I must take at least one dig at the Colts. Colts week 1 record against the spread the last 15 years, 1-13-1 against the spread.
I thought it was 2-13-1.
1-13-1 according to StatMuse, just for my trends people. Mr. Trends, both of my trends people, just saying. 1-13-1
Okay,
against
they're
the
also
spread.
1-4. They're also 1-14-1 ATS week 1. 0-6 versus AFC South opponents. I can keep going if you'd like. I got 4 or 5 for
Divisional
you.
dogs, there's 3 good
Oh yeah,
trends.
you stole that one from me. I think you took my notes. But
Just
yeah, that was
saying,
a hell of a one.
just saying, these Colts don't like week 1, okay? And my Texans, they're coming.
My Texans? Your
no.
Texans.
There it is.
No, actually.
My Texans.
No.
What are you
He
talking
thinks
about?
the trend,
No.
There's 6.
No, I don't like either. I don't like either of these dog shit programs. No, but the real reason that I like the over in this game, I feel like the total may feel a tad high to some for an AFC South matchup, but I think it's appropriate because last year they managed 51 in the first matchup. Richardson got injured in the first half, and that was despite Jonathan Taylor not partaking. Meanwhile, we got 42 in the second game despite a playoff-like atmosphere, and that was a game where we got Dell, Diggs, and Richardson all not partaking in that one. And what do we know about CJ Stroud? He was exceptional last year when not pressured. Now, the Colts, they had a high sack rate, but their pressure rate, according to FTN, they were only 22nd in pressure rate. And when CJ Stroud was kept clean, 2nd in yards per attempt, 3rd in passer rating, 6th in turnover-worthy play rate. So really good there. On top of that, what do we also know about this Colts defense? Very high in zone rate. CJ Stroud, 2nd in yards per attempt, 1st in EPA, 4th in turnover-worthy play rate against zone. So that right there leaves an exceptional matchup for him. I know the Colts did bring in Latu, who could be disruptive, but I just don't anticipate that in the very first matchup, they're going to be able to create that type of pressure right away, especially with a Texans offensive line that is going to finally be healthy this season. Now you're adding Stephon Diggs into the mix, and the Colts simply don't have the personnel at cornerback to match the 3-headed monster of Dale Collins Diggs. On top of that, this Colts rush defense on paper was solid, setting 10th in yards per carry allowed, but beneath the surface, 24th in DVOA, 20th in EPA per rush, and I know the name Joe Mixon doesn't exactly create much excitement out of the backfield at this point in his career, but he does fit the system extremely well as an under-center rusher, so it's clear I like Houston to score. On the other side, I'm very uneasy about the Texans' defense in this matchup because they got outclassed badly in the lone game that Richardson was healthy last year. 28 points at half. Their main strength last year was defending the run, but they're going to lose all 3 run-stuffing linebackers that they had from last year. Denzel Perryman's on the Chargers, Blake Cashman's on the Vikings, and Christian Harris is on the IR. So now you got 3 new linebackers in this one, and you have to stop both Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson. That smells trouble to me. Also, with the exception of Derek Stingley Jr., there's not really much to be scared of in terms of the Texans secondary. Kamari Lassiter, the rookie that they just drafted, he profiles more as a nickel, but he's going to be playing on the outside to accommodate Miles Bryant's strengths. That's pretty scary because this defense last year, already 23rd in DVOA, 23rd in EPA, 25th in yards per attempt. So I think that this is a game where we see points. So I'm going with the over. I know it's a divisional matchup. I know it's only week 1, but I think we could see some fireworks here early.
Yeah, and Toast, you're on the Colts too. He already said that earlier.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Did you see how much money the freaking Cowboys paid Dak this morning?
yeah, and then you add on the $96 million they already owe him.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
He's the highest paid in the league, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He's the highest paid. He's the highest paid player in NFL history right now.
I'm
Yeah,
happy
but
for you
it's
guys.
not even close because
Well
they
deserved.
already owed him $96 million. So
deserved.
that's in
Aaron
addition
Rodgers
to the 4 years, $260 they gave him. It's $96. It's going to be like record. He's going to be making $15 million a year more than
We
the second
drafted
highest.
Cam Ward next year, baby.
Wow. He's such a good regular season quarterback. God,
He's a
that's
stud.
a
Cam Ward is-
I don't understand it. Next up, I think Dak Prescott's good, but why do they keep paying him like he's the MVP, like he's Patrick Mahomes, ruining the team? Next up,
Dude, Cam Ward and Sauce on the same team, electric.
Denver at Seattle. I don't have a ton to say about this one. And in fact, Steve's a Seahawks fan, so I really am interested to hear what he has to say. I did bet Seattle. I grabbed a -5.5 last night. I had to pay like -122 juice for it though, so I have an expensive Seattle -5.5. I am really putting my faith in McDonald being able to get this defense in ship shape for week 1 here. We got obviously a rookie quarterback on the road on a field that's not the easiest to play on. They call it the 12th man for a reason. That place is going to be rumbling. I would imagine Seahawks Nation is pretty excited for the new tenure with Mike McDonald. I think most people are on board with that's a great hire. You saw what he did in Baltimore. So I'm on Seahawks -5.5. I'd bet it at 6. Not one of my favorite bets on the board, but I did play it. And let's send it over to the to the Seahawks fan.
Well, this is weird. For the first time in like almost 2 decades, I don't know what to expect out of the Seahawks team. With Pete Carroll, you knew what to expect. It was the same old crap every single day, living off the Legion of Boom. But I do lean Seahawks in this one. But I don't know what to expect. I mean, when you have an entire new coaching regime, I mean, it's really hard to know what you're going to get. But I do think Mike McDonald's a great coach. I think he's going to bring a lot to the Seattle team. And what I love about it also is that Denver's defense is hot garbage as well. I think Kenneth Walker has a huge game here. I really do. I think he's going to run all over them. But I also think Jackson Smith and Jigba has a great season as well. I mean, they have probably the best trio of receivers in the league. It is really unbelievable. So I think they can win pretty easy here, especially going up against a rookie quarterback. This is a really tough place to play, like you mentioned. So I definitely lean Seahawks. When you're a fan of your own team, and they've struggled for a while, laying 6 is tough. But I do think the Seahawks are the side in this one. But my best bet is one of my 2 favorite player props of the weekend. It's Javonte Williams over 2.5 receptions at -125. Here's the deal with Sean Payton. If you don't know Sean Payton, his teams have been top 5 in throwing to their running back like every single season. Last season, they targeted their running backs more than any other team in the entire NFL. And then 30% of their target shares left the team. Samaje Perine, Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, still a good player. I think people are forgetting how good of a player he is. Injuries have killed the first part of his career. But last season, Javonte Williams over in 8 of his last 10 games on this one. And he's playing with Bo Nix. He is a rookie quarterback. If you don't know Bo Nix, he didn't like to push the ball down the field at Oregon. He threw over 60% of his passes 10 yards or less. He is a guy who is going to dump it down to the running back. Sean Payton and Bo Nix together will make sure that they get him comfortable. They'll probably get some screen passes in there. I could literally get 2 screen passes, even if they go for no yards. We're already 2/3 of the way there. I know McLaughlin's going to play a little bit. I still think it's going to be a heavy dose of Javonte Williams, especially when you hear Sean Payton talk. I think it's Javonte Williams' season this year, as long as he can stay healthy. Seahawks, this is the hard part about it. Seahawks, okay, I'm going to not get frustrated. The Seahawks, the last decade, when you watch them play, it has been so freaking irritating. They sit back in their soft cover 3, whether it's 3rd and 1 and they got DBs back, and they allow catches to running backs like nothing. Like they just let you nickel and dime down the field. Pete Carroll did not care about yards given up. He just wanted to clamp down in the red zone. It drove me crazy. They were like bottom 5 allowing catches to running backs. But we can't really go off that. It's now Mike McDonald. I don't know exactly what we're going to see. I didn't look up stats on, Mike McDonald, the Ravens defense, and how they did against catches versus running backs. But either way, even a couple screen passes gets us. So I think this number is way too low for a number 1 running back. So I like 3 catches there. And then if I had to lean, it would be the Seahawks. But I'm excited just to watch new football and not the same stale Pete Carroll type football. But obviously, we'll see what happens. But I think the Broncos are pretty much hot garbage this year as well. So
I will push back on that a little bit about the Broncos. But I'll be brief. But Bo Nix is kind of the perfect guy for Sean Payton. You talked about how, he's going to have him on a kid's instruction booklet type of game plan here. Make one read, get rid of the football. And why do you think Drew Brees was able to play into his 70s? Because he wasn't even playing quarterback at the end. All Sean Payton was asking him to do is make a decision, and that's what I think. This year, Bo Nix is the perfect fit for what Sean Payton wants to do. It's exactly what he did at Oregon. But week 1 in Seattle, I'm on the Hawks. Toast, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say I loved your point about the running backs. I did it a little bit a different way. I have Seattle and Detroit in a money line parlay as far as the side goes. Because the only reason that I didn't want to lay the points with Seattle, because I truly believe that Seattle throttles this team, and I hate the Seahawks. But Geno Smith as a favorite of 4 or more, just 2-7 ATS in his career. I do think that the Broncos will be a little bit better. But as far as that running back play, that kid out of Tennessee, Jaleel McLaughlin, that second guy in their backfield, I think that he has over 13.5 rushing yards. I think that Peyton's going to get him the ball, and I actually think that if Seattle's winning by this game by a lot, he can go over this receptions play by a lot. So I played both of those, but yeah.
Proppy was on Smith and Jigba?
Yeah, big time. Really, I mean,
Big time.
Yeah.
I played that too at 43.5.
Yeah, I think it's up to 46.5 now. Jab alluded to it earlier. JSN is a guy that I very much want to invest in this year. I don't understand what the hell the usage was last year. Lockett was limited all week and was even noted by one source to potentially be limited in this game in terms of snaps. On top of that, Patrick Surtain's going to be all but shadowing DK here. His line is all the way down at 57.5. Usually a guy at 67.5, as high as 70 most weeks. So it's pretty obvious the books are implying that somebody has to step up here on the Seahawks offense. And while I think Kenneth Walker does so on the ground, I think somebody else has to through the air. And I think JSN is the man to do so. On the outside, we got Riley Moss. He's going to be making his first NFL start here. He missed all last season. Levi Wallace's coverage on the outside has taken a hit his last few seasons as well. And then on the inside in the slot, Jaquan McMillan was picked on a lot last season. Amongst 42 qualified slot cornerbacks, he allowed the 4th most yards in the league. And JSN's the main culprit to line up in the slot. Basically, the main gist is that I don't know if this dude took a shit in Shane Waldron's computer and then closed it on the first day of camp last year, but Waldron just did not use the guy correctly. He had a 6.4 ADOT, which was just way too low. Did not get him down the field at all, but he's far more talented than that. A guy at OSU who had 15.7 yards per reception, 3.56 yards per route run in 2022. And last year against wide receiver 2s, the Broncos were 32nd in DVOA. JSN's receptions line is at 3.5, juiced over as high as minus 210 on ESPN bet. With just 4+ receptions, he's over his last 7 to 8 games, averaging 53 yards. So the books are essentially telling you he's going to get 4 receptions, and at this yards mark, he's over his last 7 to 8 games. For a guy whose line I think is going to be at 55.5 regularly later this season and is going to overtake Lockett as wide receiver 2, I got to take the early value here in a cupcake spot.
All right, next
Did you send that out? Did you send that out?
Yeah, I put that on the site last night.
Okay.
I put a
that's
couple
posted.
on the
last
site last night.
Man, okay.
It's almost like this. Real quick on that, it's almost like the Seahawks were afraid to go away from their loyal Seahawks last year. Like the Tyler Lockett, the DK Metcalf, and Smith and Jigba was just not even a part of the offense. It made no sense. It was like an Arthur Smith effect. I have no idea.
They were using JSN like they were using Flowers the other night, where it was just like Screen City. It was absurd.
Yeah.
All right, next game.
Yep.
Somebody else really likes that because I already had that play.
Raiders, Chargers, and this has to be the most... Okay. I think of all the games on the board, I think this is the most coin flip game we got. I think the play here, personally, is Chargers -3. I think there's a lot of people that are really buying in on this new brand of Raiders football. The defense certainly looked better when they got rid of McDaniels, no question, but the offense is record-breakingly bad, and I'm not sure if that improves here. I have no faith in this Raiders offense at all, and I know they have receiving weapons, right? The Brock Bowers, Mayer, the Adams. They got guys to throw to, but I don't trust the offense at all. I think it's going to be the worst offense in the NFL. I put it right next to the Patriots between those two teams. And the Chargers, all the Chargers losses that they took are... in
the second half.
No. I don't mean losses in games. I meant losses on the roster this year. They lost fantasy football positions, right? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. Philosophically, how I feel about football is those positions tend to be a little more replaceable than the public consensus believes them to be. Basically, I'm still looking at Justin Herbert, who is finally healthy. Remember, he wasn't right for a lot of last year, and then he did actually end up getting hurt at the end. But even before, he was dealing with injuries. He's finally healthy. The Chargers still have a good offensive line. And in my opinion, when it comes to an offense, if you have a good offensive line and a good quarterback, the rest of the pieces just kind of fall into place, right? I mean, we've seen that with good teams before. Just take the running back out, plug a new one in. Right? Whoever the wide receiver one is going to have 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Just put it. I didn't bet this, and I don't even want to waste too much time talking about it. I personally think the Chargers are the better team here, and so which is -3. I think it should be -4.5 if you ask me. So I would play Chargers. Didn't bet it.
I'll just go really quickly because I don't have a bet, but there's one thing, couple things I know. I don't lay points with the Chargers at home. 3-6 last year ATS, but they are also 48-2 ATS at home over the last decade. That is by far the worst in the NFL. How I bet Chargers games is I just pray to God that the Chargers have a lead at halftime, and then you just slam the other side. Justin Herbert, 8-26-2 against the halftime spread when leading in the NFL. That's the absolute worst since he's been drafted. So like I said, just wait for the Cardinals or the Chargers to take a lead early and then bet the other side in the second half.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Proven moneymaker.
That shit never misses. Steve, you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, two things on what Toast just said. First of all, this isn't a home game. Raiders fans will be all over this place.
Okay.
In my opinion. I mean, it technically is, but
touche.
And second, Jim Harbaugh is a different kind of coach, so I don't know if we can rely on the whole live bet at halftime anymore.
Oh, true, yeah.
This is a bet against Justin Herbert. Not against.
Okay, because they don't have Staley. I mean, it's going to be different.
I'll give you that.
He's going to be one of the better adjustment coaches in the league. This is disgusting on a cider total. Probably the hardest one to bet cider total for me. But I do have a best bet in this game. Give me the young Ladd McConkey over 37.5 receiving yards. I don't know why this number is so low. So I know he's a rookie. It's his debut, whatever. This guy was a stud in college. 98th percentile in receiving versus single coverage at Georgia last year. He is a shifty route runner. He runs fast. He's a great yards after catch guy. They said he's going to start in the slot. He is going to have room to run in that slot. Again, needing 38 yards is not a lot. They moved up to draft him in the second round for a reason. Again, as we know, the only guy above him on the depth chart, I believe, is Josh Palmer. I know he's battling, Quentin Johnson, DJ Chark. It's nothing big. I don't think we're going to get many numbers like this year of Ladd McConkey at 37.5. So I love it. I think they're going to feed him. So give me Ladd over 37.5, but the cider total is just a definite stay away for me.
I like Ladd a lot too.
Yep.
Prop Beaver?
Yeah. So I am pumped to finally be back betting this market.
You're not going to do a tackle thing,
I discovered it last year.
Oh.
Let's go.
My favorite market, my most profitable market last year, honestly, was it was the thing that got me into the green for the NFL for my first time. I'm very pumped about it. We're going back to the tackles and assist market, people.
Get him.
Denzel Perryman. I love this play. It is sharp.
Veteran.
It is sharp as all tits, my friends. I love sharp plays. I love tackle props. We have both. Perryman, just 3-11 to the over last year, averaging 6 tackles and assists. So why on earth do I like his over where we have to drink a little bit of juice? Well, because Perryman is supremely undervalued after splitting time in a 4-3 along LBs, Blake Cashman, and Christian Harris, stealing tackles and assists from him left and right. Last year, due to both injury and the insane amount of depth at the position, Perryman only played an average of 68.6% of the snaps. This year, in his return to the Chargers, I think this dude is going to have to play almost every single snap. Starting alongside him at inside linebacker is Dion Henley. The sophomore third rounder had just 16 combined tackles across 15 games last year. So there is a ton of responsibility on his shoulders in the run stuffing department here, and he is more than capable of handling it. Perryman ranked 12th amongst 89 linebackers in run defense grade last year and tends to be near the top of ranks in this department every single year. In terms of the matchup perspective, for most of last year, the Raiders were a brutal bet for linebacker tackles plus assists overs, but when Antonio Pierce took over as head coach, we saw that flip on its head. And after the bye, when Pierce established his 1985 Bears halfback gut style culture, it became heaven for inside linebacker tackles plus assist overs. 4 or 5 opponents had an opposing linebacker go over their tackle plus assist mark, with 6 total hitting 9+ tackles plus assists, averaging 12, nevertheless 8 during this span. Considering all offseason, we've heard preaches of giving Zamir White and Alexander Madison the ball 30+ times a game. Literal hell for viewers and Vegas fans alike. I plan on taking advantage of it and making a little money off of it. Let's get Perryman 8+ tackles against this elite running back duo here. Come on.
Love it.
Oh my God.
Come on.
That was all legit. That was legit. I don't even know how to research tackles and assists.
It's a great market.
I actually have found a really good method to research tackle and assist props. You don't fucking do it.
No, it's great.
Unreal. Toast.
Wow.
I respect it.
I respect it.
Toast, wasn't our sweet spot the -120?
Yo, you had me at juice. That's all I got to
Yep.
say. So I was looking it up. So it was just pretty simple for me. This game, like I said, if the Chargers are up at halftime, I will bet the Raiders. If not, this is a pure pass for me.
All right, let's go on to
-120, man. You know what it is.
Toast was a
That
buyer
was
from the
impressive.
beginning.
Thank you.
I respect.
That
I
was
respect it.
super impressive.
Impressive's a word for it.
Yeah.
All right, Cleveland, Dallas. I gotta say, most of you probably know I have a bet down in this game. I uploaded it on YouTube. I posted this bet like weeks ago too. So I've been on this bet for a while. Most of you probably already know that I'm on Cleveland money line here. I will say I don't like it quite as much today as I did a couple weeks ago. I wouldn't change sides, and I'm not cashing out. I'm sticking with it. I'm on the Browns money line here. I got it at either -125, -130, something like that. I do think they win the game, but I don't know. I also could see the Cowboys win it. So basically, I think the Cleveland Browns have a very good chance of being the best defense in the NFL. I mean, we could even throw the word again at the end because they almost were last. I mean, probably the Baltimore was, but Cleveland was right there. I'm not so much. I know the home away splits were weird for this defense, and I don't really care too much about that. Some of those numbers are skewed a little bit. They played some really bad quarterbacks at home and then some better quarterbacks on the road. And I don't really care too much about the home away splits, but this defense also dealt with a couple injuries. Delpit's fully healthy entering the season. He's had his issues. I think this defense is a nightmare, especially the pass rush, and the Cowboys are coming into this game. I want to say I like what the Cowboys are doing with their offensive line. I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think it's going to be a good thing moving forward. But to go week one into Cleveland with two rookies starting in your offensive line is a little concerning for me, even though I think they're good rookies. I know Guyton was the first round pick. BB's the man at center. I'm telling you, that's going to be a really good pick. Kansas State loved that fucking guy. He was like the leader of their offense. So Cooper Beebe at center for the Cowboys, it's going to be a great pick. But he is a third round pick, and it's week one in Cleveland. I mean, this is a tough place to go in with two rookie offensive linemen. Look, I've always said I like Dak Prescott. I think he's a very good quarterback. Overpaid as all hell. Contract's been butchering the team forever. But as far as my opinion of him as a quarterback, I think he's very good. I mean, but no run support here. How are the Cowboys going? Who's the RB1? Zeke? Come on, get the fuck out of it. No way.
Today will be Rico and Zeke splitting carries with Dalvin Cook inactive.
So, yeah, the reason I don't like it as much as I did 2 weeks ago, I keep hearing and reading that Deshaun Watson isn't okay, like that he doesn't look good, that he's having accuracy problems, his shoulder still isn't all right, which is scaring the shit out of me. So I'm on Browns money line. It's not one of my top bets or anything. I've been on this for a few weeks. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I'll go next. Deshaun probably should get a massage on that shoulder for sure. Browns are a juggernaut at home. You talked about it. I know it might be skewed a little bit, but they were 8-1 against the spread at home last year. That's insane to almost win every single game against the spread. Obviously, give up little less than 14 points per game, but Cowboys 0-5 straight up and against the spread the last 5 games as an underdog. They have not played well as an underdog. And like you said, maybe the O-line gets better, but this is a tough spot for week one in Cleveland. Myles Garrett and these boys, I think it's going to be tough. I think the dog pound is going to be going nuts. I don't think the Cowboys have enough yet here in week one to get the job done. It's not a best bet of mine, but it is a lean. I do like the Browns -2.5. Obviously, Deshaun can't just absolutely suck. I know Chubb's not there yet, but I think Jerome Ford and these boys, they can get the job done and rely on their defense, and I think they win this game.
Someone said, where have you heard that, Kyle? I heard he's good to go. It's not that he's injured or risk of playing. I heard that he doesn't look right, that like his accuracy is off, like he's never fully recovered, and he used to be an accurate thrower of the football, and it's been a while since we've seen that, and I don't know if it's coming back. I'm on Cleveland, though. I'm not saying like bail on this bet. I'm just saying when I first made this bet, I thought this was going to be one of my top bets this week. It's not.
I'm in the complete same boat as Kyle. Heading into this week, I thought there's no way that the Cleveland Browns are not on my ticket as a top bet. It's not even on the website. Not even for a half unit. The thing that's really killing me is the O-line injuries for the Browns. Yeah. I thought that I was at least going to have a healthy Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin. Neither of them were freaking healthy heading into this week.
Wait. Is Conklin going to play?
Conklin's going to play, but the fact that they were still not even getting full practices this week. This week? You had the full offseason. This week, you're not even getting full practices. I mean, Jesus Christ. Against that Cowboys pass rush, one thing I will say kind of from like an emotional, mental kind of standpoint, Dak Prescott just got paid this morning. It's kind of like I feel like once you get paid, it's like, all right, my job's done. That type of standpoint.
No, because he got paid already. The Cowboys already paid him, and he had a very good. No, bullshit.
I don't know. I always have that mindset. I don't know. You're working to get paid, and then you get paid. It's like job's done.
No, because Dak might be the type of guy that feels bad that he was holding this over the organization, and he wants to deliver for them.
He is literally holding the organization hostage. But
I don't blame him for doing so.
So, I just personally, if the O-line was a bit healthier, and maybe if I had a bit more faith in Deshaun Watson and his health and his state of his arm, I'd be a bit more confident in my Browns bet here. But yeah, I just don't trust Dak on the road, and I do trust the Browns at home, as Jabbo was alluding to. I mean, this Browns defense was elite at home last year, but I think what Kyle kind of made me a bit more shaky about was the competition that the Browns faced at home last year in terms of quarterbacks, and that is why I'm kind of less confident in comparison to where I was earlier in the week.
Toast, I know you're on the Browns too.
Yeah, I can't really add much. I just think that it's going to be a little bit too much. I was in the same spot as you guys, though. I thought that the offensive line for Cleveland would give us a pretty big advantage, and now with those guys questionable, I know that Conklin's playing. It's a little bit different. So, yeah, I can't add anything, but I do have almost a full unit on Cleveland money line.
Cleveland, he's on the money line. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's go to the next game. Yeah. And, Steve, we're on the same thing here. Okay, so we have the same touchdown score. You know what? Hit him with the touchdown score song.
All right, let's
release new single.
Anytime, touching it down, scoring it, running around. It's the anytime, touchdown scoring. Anytime you need touchdown. Yeah.
All right, so I'll put up a.
I couldn't hear it yet, but I'm gonna go back and listen. But just seeing what it looked like, it's pretty funny.
It's
as
moronic as you could imagine. So put up Jaden Daniels touchdown for both me and Steve. Steve, that's on your ticket, right? I saw that in your text.
That's one of my two bets today in this game. Yep.
All right, so check this out. Steve, I want you to hear me out on this bet. I think you're gonna like it. It's weird, and I know everyone's reacting to the song right now, but I need everyone to chill because I have a bet for you. So, and I want everyone to promise they're going to hear me out on this one. Washington first quarter money line at plus 143, and I know that what the hell kind of bet is that? Man, from what I'm reading, from what I saw in the preseason, the Commanders are doing. So, I mean, first of all, it's Dan Quinn at head coach. It's Cliff Kingsbury at offense coordinator. It's Jaden Daniels at quarterback. If there's one thing we know about the Washington Commanders offense, is that we don't know shit about it. And in the preseason, they were running triple options. They ran this weird RPO where he pulled it and then ran and then stopped and did like a Tim Tebow pass thing. I think this bet, Washington first quarter money line plus 143. I think Todd Bowles, a traditional defensive mind, is going to get caught with some trick shit in the first. I think Washington's going to score on some weird shit in the first quarter, and I don't trust the Bucs offense. I expect them to start slow. So in my opinion, I got a plus 143 bet that's pretty much win or push. In my opinion, obviously that could go horribly wrong. I think Jaden Daniels could pull it and break a 70-yard run in this one. This dude. Jaden Daniels, for those of you that don't watch college football, he's game speed to the maximum. Maybe he doesn't have the craziest looking 40-yard dash. I don't even know what his 40 is. I don't care what it is. This dude is lightning on the field. It's kind of like Lamar Jackson, where maybe on paper he's not the fastest dude. Then you watch the game and you're like, that motherfucker's fast as hell. That's Jaden Daniels. He is game speed to the maximum. He is so fast. So I think Jaden Daniels is going to break a touchdown run. First quarter, give me my plus 143.
I love it. You know what else I like about that is that usually that first drive of the game, it's so scripted, and you usually have a better drive there, and they're gonna have some script like you
That's
said.
crazy.
I don't think they're gonna take time to adjust. I love the first quarter bet. Just real quick on that Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown. I think I got it at plus 205. How many times do you get plus 205 on a touchdown for a guy with his athleticism at quarterback? Like, it is just absolutely insane. And like you said, he could break a long one. They're just going to throw a lot at him. I love Jaden Daniels in that value. But my favorite player prop of the entire weekend probably is in this game. Brian Robinson, the running back for the Commanders, over 42.5 rushing yards. Again, it's 43 yards, guys, for the number one running back. Do not get this confused. Austin Eckler is not the guy they want to be running through between the tackles all game. That is not what he is. He is a pass catcher. He'll have a few carries, obviously, but he's not going to be a big part of this, in my opinion. B-Rob, if you don't know, he's good. He's fun to watch. I don't know if you guys like him or not, but I've liked watching him play. 13th in yards after contact last season, 22nd in explosive run rate. The books think he gets about 12 carries. The line is about 11 and a half. If he gets 12 carries, if you do the math, you need about 3.5 yards a carry. We're not asking for a lot, and that's just on a basic game, 12 carries, 3.5 yards a carry, and he cashes this. So volume alone should get there, but when Robinson has 10 or more carries last season, he went over this line in 8 of 9 games. Last season versus the Bucs, 7 of the 8 running backs with 10 or more. And again, I'm only going down to 10. I think he gets much more than 10. 10 or more carries, 7 of 8 running backs went against Tampa Bay. We know they're good for a decent run defense, but still, again, it's 43 yards. Kingsbury has come out and said, and coaches don't lie ever. He has come out and said that Brian Robinson is absolutely a number one running back in this league. Like I said, volume alone gets there. That's not even counting a long run. Brian Robinson's number is way too low. Give me the over on his rushing yards along with Jaden Daniels' touchdown.
That's the guy that got shot, right?
Bullet Bob.
Yes.
Okay. That was bothering me. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's
what also makes him a badass. Yes.
Probably.
Well, I'm just saying, if he got shot last year, it's only if he.
I think it was 2 years ago now. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said 1 year removed from the bullet.
Yeah. 2 years.
I have a
removed from
trend
the
here.
bullet.
Players 1 year removed from a bullet are 7-1 to the over. All right, go pro.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take bullet splits into
Bullet
account.
splits.
Yeah. So my favorite play in this game, weather pending. I would honestly wait to play this and peep the weather. There's some weird things going on with the weather in this game.
Numerous thunderstorms in Tampa Bay today.
Precisely,
Numerous.
Mr. Toasty. Would be the rookie Jalen McMillan, third rounder out of Washington. Maybe I'm galaxy branding this one. Maybe you just take Mike Evans over 69.5 yards against the sorry-ass Washington secondary while McMillan runs wind sprints. But I think this is the guy with the best value in this one. And maybe in general with some potential value early this season. I think he's ready to make an impact a lot quicker than many expected this season. All the buzz in camp has been about him, including from the mouths of Baker Mayfield and OC Liam Cohen themselves. He already jumped Trey Palmer on the depth chart, and there's a lack of depth behind him. I mean, he's going to be the starting wide receiver in 3 wide receiver sets, which Cohen plans on using quite a lot of. And the usage we've seen in the preseason thus far is absurd. 16 routes, 7 in the slot, 9 out wide, and he's been targeted 6 times, catching 4 of them for 14 3-point yards per reception. That's 3.56 yards per route run. Absurd efficiency. And now he faces the boss battle of dog shit secondaries. Last year, the Washington pass defense was 32nd in DVOA, 32nd in EPA, 31st in yards per attempt, and they traded their 2 best pass rushers at last year's deadline, so I don't expect it to be any better. On top of that, Dan Quinn won't be calling the plays. It's going to be Joe Witt Jr., a first-time defensive play caller against Liam Cohen, a guy who was groomed under Sean McVay. I'm confident that Cohen could get McMillan into enough of advantageous looks for Baker to find him 2 or 3 times to get us over this line. I'm just betting on the talent here for a light half unit. Would be a lighter play than all the other props that I gave out on today's show. But with the weather concerns and the rookie aspect, half unit. But yeah, I do like McMillan a lot, and the matchup is about as beautiful as it gets.
Toast.
Washington money line for me, and Washington plus 6.5. Played them both.
Plus 6.5.
Or sorry, 4.5. What is it?
I think it's 3.5 right now. It's 4 now. It's 4. Okay, you can get a 4.
Okay.
So
what did I get it at? No, that's gonna bother me. Anyway, I do like Washington here today. I think the fact that we're getting Baker Mayfield, who as a starter, I just really don't like him as a favorite. 4-26 as a favorite. That's one of the worst in the NFL. And honestly, with Jaden Daniels and Sauce talked about how dynamic that offense could be. The one thing that I've considered with Tampa Bay is that they're really good between the tackles. You're probably not going to run all over them between the tackles, but I think with Jaden Daniels and Austin Eckler, I think they're going to be able to get first downs and move down the field. And if that's the case, I think this is going to be a game here today. So I took Washington plus 3.5, and I took Washington on the money line.
Let's do it. Next game, I would lean Washington full game as well, but the only bet I actually have placed is the 2 on the screen. All right, next up. Last game, and honestly, this is my favorite bet. It's super public. It's super square. I'll make it quick because we're coming up on community parlay time. I'm on the Lions. I got it at minus 3.5. I'd still play it at minus 4.5. To be honest, I'd play Detroit at anything less than a touchdown. What the hell is going on with the Rams defensive front seven?
Ooh.
They don't have, okay, so first of all, this Rams defensive front seven lost Ernest Jones and Aaron Donald, right? Their 2 best players from the Rams defensive front are gone. The most veteran player currently on the Rams starting defensive front seven is Roseboom at 27, an undrafted free agent. Their other pieces are 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, and 26. All young, inexperienced. They are the most young, inexperienced defensive front seven in the NFL. I don't think it's close. And on top of that, Raheem Morris is gone. He's now the coach of the Falcons. So the Rams lost their defensive coordinator as well. You got Chris Shula coming in to coach the Rams defense. He's never called plays in his life. It's his first time calling plays with the youngest, most inexperienced defensive front seven in the league. And it gets worse. They're in freaking Detroit, which probably has the best offensive line in football this year. They had a top 3, top 4 offensive line last year. They got better. They lost Jonah Jackson and upgraded to Zietler from the Ravens. So the number 2 or 3 offensive line in football last year, the Detroit Lions got better. They upgraded a guard. Against the youngest defensive front seven in the league? Are you crazy? They signed Tre'Davious White. Maybe the Rams secondary is a little better. On paper, the Lions should rip 6.5 yards a carry on this Rams defensive front seven in this one. They don't even need to throw the ball. And then on the other side, look, Stafford and those wide receivers are going to make plays against a bad Lions secondary, no doubt. But this comes from Prop Beaver. Or Prop Beaver found this. So the Rams last year led the NFL in adjusted games lost from offensive line injuries. What that means is they were very lucky. Their offensive line was intact for most of the season. They led the league in it. They're already off to the complete opposite start. Their left tackle suspended 2 games. Havestein might not even play. Their right tackle. If he does play, who knows what kind of shapes he's going to be in. He missed the entire camp. He hasn't even participated in a full practice yet. So they might be without both tackles. And their center, Jonah Jackson, coincidentally, the guy from the Lions, wasn't even playing center last year. And he missed all of camp with an injury. So this Rams offensive line is in terrible shape. The Lions' defensive front is solid. They have a good pass rush. They're good at generating pressure. So even if you're a little worried about Stafford and those receivers making plays on the Lions' secondary, I don't know how much time he's going to have in the pocket in this game, guys. And he's like 115 years old. So, yeah, Lions minus the points up to 7. I'll play it. Lions should blow them out.
I'll just go really quickly because mine's I didn't play. I did the moneyline parlay thing, but I just wanted to add McVay and Campbell, ATS-wise, are some of the best over the last 3 years. And Jared Goff indoors, 25 and 9 ATS the last 3 seasons. So when he plays in a dome, he's almost unbeatable.
Steve?
After listening to your rant, I'm really mad I didn't give out Lions minus 4.5. I was leaning that way already. How about Lions team total over? I mean, literally 30-plus points should be on the board for them. Lions are my Super Bowl pick. I think they're the representative out of the NFC. They literally could play 17 of 20 games all the way to the end of a Super Bowl in a dome, which is insane. But either way, I think the O-line absolutely bullies them. I mean, I think they shove them all the way down the field. I have watched Lions games where I've been amazed, where I watch them and I'm like, my goodness, the running back gets the ball, and I mean, they are already in the second level. I mean, it is unbelievable how good their offensive line is, and that's why Jared Goff's having such a great second part of his career, I guess. But I like the Lions. I don't have a best bet necessarily in this game, but I do like the team total over. Like Kyle said, I like minus 4.5. We got Matthew Stafford back in Detroit, that kind of thing. He could put up some points too, and that's why I think I probably lean the team total over a little bit more on the Lions. But my best bet in this game is an anytime touchdown, Sam Laporta. I mean, plus 145. What are we doing here? They're going to score 4+ touchdowns in this game, probably. Maybe go Lions over 3.5 touchdowns. But Laporta, 10 touchdowns last year. He had a touchdown versus the Rams already. Rams gave up the second most touchdowns to tight ends last season. I don't see that changing at all this year. 6th most yards to tight ends. They really struggle. I love Laporta to find a touchdown here. Plus 145 just seems like a steal. But yeah, I'm on board with all things Lions.
Prop Beaver, you have about a minute 10 seconds before community parlay at 12:45.
All right, cool. Yeah, the Detroit Lions I have to take on the side because the Rams defense has officially become unbackable. Holy shit. Rams defense already overperformed in terms of their scoring defense last year and compared to their advanced metrics, and now they lose not only Aaron Donald, but they lose Ernest Jones too. On top of that, they brought in Darius Williams to try and bolster their secondary. He's injured. He's going to be missing the first 4 weeks. That secondary is awful. Holy fuck. This defense is atrocious. They have a new defensive play caller. As much as the Rams offense can try and overcompensate for it, I just think there's too much to keep up with. So yeah, I just think the Rams defense is going to be one that I will find ways to fade every single week. So yep, give me the Lions. And then in terms of over 52.5, Matthew Stafford was borderline flawless in that playoff game, but the Rams were just so horrible situationally. 3-9 on third downs, 0-3 in the red zone. I don't think that happens this time around. This is not a playoff defense. I think we'll be seeing the regular season version of the Lions defense, which was pitiful last year. So points, even in a primetime game. I wish I wasn't such a puss pop the other day in the Brazil game. I got scared off by the primetime overs thing. I got scared off by the Brazilian factor. Nope, primetime overs are stupid. In fact, they hit at such an absurd rate last year. Probably do some primetime overs, so give me the over.
All right, community parlay. Hit him with that song.
Okay. Got the songs on deck.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay, yeah.
It was the freest over I think I've ever given out, and I didn't even play it. So
yeah, I like that over too. All right, ready? Yeah, clear the picks off. All right, so first poll, they like the Falcons. All right, community parlay coming up first. They like the Falcons. They like the Dolphins. They like the Bills.
So it was Falcons and then what?
Dolphins, Bills, Bengals. Falcons,
Somebody wrote
Dolphins.
in the Discord. So Prop Beaver doesn't like Kyler Murray. He hasn't been good since 2021, but dude just glazed Deontay Johnson and Chuba Hubbard. Get out of here.
Yeah, because they have metrically been good since 2021. Jesus, do I have to?
All right, cast your votes on this. While they're voting, Steve, want to tell them where they can find your stuff?
Yeah, YouTube channel, Just a Bet Outside on Twitter. And then we got a Discord too. But yeah, we talk all things NBA, MLB, and NFL and have a lot of fun doing it. It's been awesome. Been on the YouTube for 2 years now.
Yeah. A lot of people speak very highly about his channel. It does a really good job. There's a reason I asked him to come on because he does a very good job. So make sure you show him some support. Give him a follow on Twitter. You upload Monday through Friday, right? For YouTube?
Yeah, Monday through Friday. Yeah, give out bets on the weekends too. But yeah, we like to give out a lot of research help, so the videos take a lot of prep and everything. And
I can relate.
I decided to start this at 2 years ago when I was 36 years old, have 2 little kids and all that. So gotta have that balance.
Yeah, gotta have the balance. All right, who won the first poll?
Dolphins.
Dolphins are
By
in the
landslide.
community parlay. Next up, we got Panthers won that. Titans won. Vikings and Texans. All road teams in that one.
Did you say Texans?
Yeah,
Why?
because that's who won the poll. It's the community parlay, not ours.
I was just joking.
Yeah.
Hey.
Why?
Why?
Cast your votes. So we got, do you want to put the first community parlay on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so the first leg of the community parlay is Dolphins money line. It'd be nice if the week 1 community parlay cashed. So we had Fins money line. Can you type Dolphins after this poll? Can you, when you go back to
Yes,
Fins?
I will.
It's like, what Fins? Why Fins? All right, Who won the next poll?
That was Texans.
Dolphins, Texans. All right. Chargers, Seahawks. Seahawks is 6.5 now, by the way. Did Bucks or Commanders win the poll? Bucks, let's say, because I probably. And Cowboys. All right, so the community parlay is Dolphins and Texans so far.
If you guys want a couple MLB underdogs, Cubs, Cards, and the who's my last one? Oh yeah, Snakes. Cubs, Cards, Snakes.
Cubs, Cards, Snakes. The last two. Oh, there's only one left. So it's Lions. Second place, put Vikings back in there. So it's Lions money line, then Vikings, then Titans, and then Falcons. Those are the three that got the most votes there. So vote on the last leg of the community parlay. Then let's go watch some Red Zone channel, shall we?
Go.
So what's his? I will say Chris Hansen. What the hell's his name?
Scott
Hansen. I hope everyone has as much fun roasting that dude as I do. He's not. He's cool. He does a good job. No,
I mean, chiller.
He's just like corny as shit. But like, I like him. He does a good job. But he like.
Have you heard about like how he preps and everything? It's intense. Like he doesn't drink anything, so he doesn't have to pee for 6 hours. Like he does all these things with the prep, and there's a lot to it. It's
seems
crazy.
Unnecessary. Why wouldn't you just have a second host? Be like, I'm gonna pee for 60 seconds.
Just a bet outside. Did you see the Cougars dominate? Are you a Cougar or a Husky over there?
I'm a Husky fan, but I'm actually.
Oh, come on!
I'm actually an Ohio State fan.
You're about to lose this week, just so you know.
I've watched Ohio State, Michigan since I was 5, and I fell in love with Ohio State, so that's my team. But I like UW over Cougs. I'm not a Cougar.
Well, UW's about to lose back-to-back. They're going to lose the Apple Cup. They're going to have to travel east to go to Rutgers, and they're going to get their butts whooped there. They're about to have 2 losses after that.
So you're a Cougar, and somehow you hate the Seahawks. I'm not sure how that happens, but
because the Seahawks are a dysfunctional, terrible organization.
Plus 3,
just like the Mariners. I don't do Seattle sports at all.
Plus 385. The community parlay. Dolphins money line. Texas money line. Seahawks money. You disappeared?
Up.
Dolphins money line. Texas money line. Seahawks money line. Lions money line. Do we have an underdog?
Yes, we do.
Let's do it real quick, and then let's go watch some football. The underdog pick'em is. All right. Let me pull that shit up.
Yeah. So the underdog pick'em, we got 4 legs. We discussed them on the show already, so no need to go into them further. We got Denzel Perryman, higher than 7.5 tackle and assists. You already know what it is. JSN, higher than 46.5 receiving yards. Devon A-Chain, higher than 23.5 receiving yards. And Chuba Hubbard, higher than 56.5 rushing yards.
If you don't have an underdog fantasy account, it's available. The free pick is a Dak Prescott, higher than a half pass yard.
Just got paid.
Free leg here. You can use that in your first pick'em if you're located in one of these states here highlighted in yellow. So if you're in one of these states, head over to the Underdog Fantasy website or download the app. When you make your account, make sure you use the promo code BET, BET. That'll get you up to $1,000 in bonus cash. It's a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. So if you deposit $2,000, you'll get $1,000 of free cash to play with. Everyone, enjoy Football Sunday. Thanks for watching. There was a lot of people in there. Be back tomorrow, same time, Monday Night Football, MLB, all that jazz.